I think it's so important, like, as a parent, to put inside your child this, like, heart of empathy and, like, a heart of kindness. You have to build their self-esteem as a child. Like, I know, like me, like my mom, right, and my dad, they're at every single baseball game. My mom was the coach, and she'd be, cheering us on. Come on, Timothy, you can do it. Go, Timmy. My dad would be, like that parent, like that guy in the stands that's like, his kid is like 10 years old and he's like, hit it out of the field. Like, there is no way that little kid is going to hit that ball out of the field. But my dad would be like, remember David and Goliath. Like, and the parents are looking at him like, okay. And basically what he's telling me to do, right? Like, super young. This bridge is really bumpy. What my dad's telling me to do is he's telling me to do the impossible. And my mom is telling me that she believes in me, right? And as a child, like, you don't really realize, like you don't really understand. You can't really measure the impact that those things like the impact that those things have on a child's life, right? You can't, like, say, okay, like, I encourage my child, 10,000 times this year. What's my ROI of that, right? Like how does that impact my child's life, that I was screaming, cheering him on, at the baseball game. And I was never a negative parent. I grew up with kids that literally hated to play baseball, hated the game, hated it, didn't want to show up for practice, dreaded going up to bat, because their parents would, if they failed or struck out, their parents would be like super negative and disappointed with them. Whereas my parents would be like, hey, it's okay, you're going to get him next time, right? And like, growing up, I didn't really realize. I'm also not sure if that light in the back seat right there, if that is a positive thing or a negative thing. I'm just trying it out. Let me see here. I guess we're just going to leave it off. Wait, let me try something else here. Okay, I think that's better. So, yeah, like, you can't really measure the impact of positivity in your child's life. But, there are kids that they hated the game. They were afraid to fail, right? They were afraid to strike out. But my parents were like, man, you can do it. Do the impossible, and I'm cheering you on. Win or lose, win or learn, right? I'm cheering you on. And I remember, like, as a child, my mom would take us to, like, the soccer field or the baseball field if it was empty, and we would just practice and practice and practice. And Coach Lou would come by, and we would just work so hard on our game. Me and my brother would, like, work on all the signs, go over every pitch, all the situations. Like, we're gonna throw a cut fastball to a right-handed batter on the outside corner if there's a runner on first and second, but we're gonna come inside hard with a two-seam fastball on the inside corner if there's we're just trying to strike them out if there's runners on second and third, right? And we would just work so hard. So it's like you get this perfect trinity. You give a combination of extreme commitment, extreme work ethic, right? Number one. And then you have your mom saying, I believe in you, I'm cheering you on, I'm the number one cheerleader that you have. And then you got your dad saying, do the impossible. And as a child, I always remember, and if my brother Matthew ever watches this, like he'll remember too, like, we hated it. Like, it was not fun, right? When my dad was that dad, saying, hit it out of the field, hit it out of the park. And you're like 10 years old, and like the laws of physics do not allow for that to happen. But so you have a dad that's demanding you to do the seemingly impossible. You have a mom that believes in you, and you have extreme work ethic. You put all those three together, man, we won every single Little League championship, like, for like 4 years, 8 seasons or something ridiculous like that, right? And so I grew up, my point is, I said all that to say this, I grew up with like this massive, like, belief in my heart and in my mind that I can do the impossible. Because you know what, like, when I was 11 years old, when I was 10 years old, it's like impossible to hit the ball like out of the park. Like, the laws of physics do not allow for that. But when I was 11 years old, I hit a grand slam in the championship game, back in like 03 or something, or 02 or something. I have no idea. I think it could have been 02, because I remember the Angels won the World Series that year. But and David Eckstein was like my hero, because he like hustled like really hard, right? He was like just hustling everywhere, running, sprinting to first base on like a ground ball to like the pitcher, second base, like sprints. So the thing that I thought was impossible when I was 10, all of a sudden, like, it wasn't that impossible when I was 11. And when I was 12, it was, I'm hitting home runs, like, in batting practice now, right? And then when I'm 13, I win Defensive Player of the Year award. When I'm 14, I'm on the high school team of a state champion high school, right? The JV team, right? I'm a freshman. 15, I'm 14, 15. Well, 15, I'm the infield captain. 16, I'm like superstar, right? In my eyes. 17, I'm the team captain, and then 18, I'm in leadership like every year, my teenage years. 19, I'm in sales, right? And I learned how to sell. I began that whole journey, the journey I'm on right now. 20, I learned the fintech industry. 21, I start my own company. 22, I go through the worst possible, 21 and 22, I go through the worst possible time that I ever had, that happened to me. It was terrible. But I rebound when I'm 23, and we built a $50 million company, right? We processed anywhere from $50 to $250 million worth of data, right? And going to 500 million, right? We're going to $500 million next year. And so, like, I can see, like, throughout my life, right? I can see, like, this clear path, how, like, from when I was in Little League, okay, from when I'm 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, to when I'm 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 21 till now, I'm 25 now, I can clearly see how, as a direct result of the impact that my parents had on my life, it forced me, it ingrained in me a belief in myself that I can do the impossible, and it allowed me to not care about failing like the other kids, right? Because I've failed at multiple different businesses that I've tried, and I actually kind of like it, like when I make a mistake, because then I learn, and I learn lessons that I'll never forget, right? For the rest, like I threw $20,000 in the garbage, like, at the beginning of this year. Made a huge mistake. Was a terrible steward of God's finances and resources. But I learned a lesson that's going to make me $200,000 over the next 3 years, over the next year, right? So it's like win or learn, right? But not my point. My point is that extreme belief in myself that I can do the impossible. If you're watching this video, you probably, because I say this just as a general statistic, you are probably not financially free, right? So you do not make enough residual income to pay all of your monthly bills and then some, right? It seems impossible to the average person to be 100% financially free, but I am telling you, and I am a witness that as a direct result of self-awareness, empathy, and a lot of hard work, you can be 100% financially free if you're willing to learn. And that's a direct result of what happened in my childhood because of my parents, man. I'm telling you, like, it's all my parents. I just whipped out my phone and wanted to, like, take some notes down here because, like, I can clearly see how what happened when I was a child, like, impacted my life. So in summary, before I ramble on for another 10 minutes, I believe with all my heart, with everything that I am, okay? With everything that I am, I believe that I literally can do the impossible, right? It is an impossible task what I'm facing right now in my industry, in my world. My team is working every single day to literally do the impossible. We are attempting to do something that has been done a couple times in the history of American business, but we are attempting to revolutionize an entire industry. And I can't say exactly how we're doing that, but just know that, like, it looks completely impossible. But I grew up believing that the impossible could happen, and that is a direct result of my parents. So that's my little, like, thought for today, you know, because this morning I went from Lafayette to Baton Rouge, from Baton Rouge to Lake Charles to Sulphur to the Texas state line. Then I went from the Texas state line back to Baton Rouge, down to New Orleans. Now I'm coming up through Houma, Morgan City, back up to Lafayette. I'm going to get home at Lafayette about 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go to my office for a little bit, I think. And then I got to coach CrossFit class at 5 a.m. I believe that the impossible can happen in my life. So here's what I want from you. If you believe that you can do the impossible, if you truly believe in your heart that you have what it takes to be 100% financially free, I just want you to comment something in the comment box below, like comment an emoji, right? Whatever. Because, like, I want to see if anybody at all, like, ever watches this. I want to see if there's some other believers out there, right? And I know there are, because I talk to dozens of them every single day. 100% financial freedom. Like, post a comment if you have the courage enough to believe it, right? I'm super grateful. Like, I am so grateful to my parents. Like, it's unbelievable. Every single ounce of my success for the rest of my life is a direct result of what my parents put in my heart when I was a child, and then me using, like, the God-given talents to work it out, right? So it's like work ethic multiplied by the core programming that I got as a kid. And by the way, like, if you never had parents that did that for you, if you never had parents that loved you and told you that you were a winner, a champion, and a warrior, and they didn't put that inside of you, there's plenty of people that are successful. I just saw a deer. Plenty of people that are successful that they didn't even have parents growing up, right? So like, there's no excuse. Like, maybe, just maybe, if I never had the parents that I had, maybe I'd be saying the exact same thing on this vlog, saying I'm thankful that I never had parents, because and I was in this rough situation because I was determined to make it out of the struggle, right? Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to talk in the theoreticals and just think like, what if? But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, it is what it is now. And I've noticed that I have an extreme passion to help other young people become financially free. Like, I'm like psycho about it, actually. Like, I have people on my team that I tell them straight up, like, I will not allow you to fail, period. If you're on my team, I'm gonna make it pretty much impossible for you to fail. You're gonna have to fight me if you want to fail. And some people do, by the way, right? Like, some people, like, no matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter what I give them, no matter how easy I make it, no matter how much training I provide, no matter how good the script is, they still fail. And that's on them. That's fine. It doesn't affect my legacy, because at the end of the day, like, I gave them everything that I could, right? And that's my biggest takeaway, is knowing that at the end of the day, I'm trying to give these people, I just realized that, actually, just really thinking about it, I need to give my team basically what my parents gave me, just in the context of like a professional setting, right? I need to give them what my parents gave me, but just package it in such a way that it's like corporately approved, right? It's kind of like politically correct. Wow, I just realized that. Anyways, I'm gonna stop harping on this. Got a lot of work to do, but I'm willing to put in the work, because if you put in the work, and if you train, and if you learn, and you believe in the work that you're doing, and if you believe in learning and growing, the impossible becomes possible. Like, the impossible is now possible in my life. And I don't know, by the way, like, I don't know how the impossible is going to become possible. I just know that it is, because it's happened like over and over and over and over again. I know that it is. And by the way, like, if your dreams and your goals, if my dreams, if Timothy Leo's dreams and goals, if my vision for my life is from where I am now to where my vision is, if there is not like a miracle or something impossible or like a supernatural work of God that happens in the middle there, it's probably not a big enough dream. It's probably not a big enough vision. William Carey said, attempt great things for God, expect great things from God. So where I am now, where my vision is, if there's not a miracle or like a work of God or like a supernatural, impossible event in the middle, it's probably not even God's will for my life, and I'm probably shortchanging the destiny that God has for my life, by the way. I don't know. Think about that. Anyways, good night.